This story just got a lot more interesting. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about prominent J6 rioter, person of interest, whatever you want to call him, possible Fed, Ray Epps. He is now suing Fox News, maybe Eve Tucker Carlson himself, because they said that he was a Fed. Now, in case you don't know what's happening, Ray Epps was a guy that was out there on January 6th saying, hey, let's go into the Capitol. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and pop that up on the screen right here. And of course, everything I'm talking about right now will be in the box. But that's him right there in the center in the red MAGA hat. You're going to hear what he says. And you're also going to hear how the crowd reacted to him. Remember, this is back on January 6, 2021.
Americans are terrorists.
Yes, you are. Guys, you are. Guys, I'm not saying
They've already given up their
American rights.
Yeah,
So I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail for it. Okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed.
They're calling him a Fed right there. Now, is this Baked Alaska right here? Is that Baked Alaska? It looks like Baked Alaska right there. I can't tell if that's him or not, but it doesn't really matter. What he said was, let's go into the Capitol. He is literally inciting the riot. Now, he's faced no jail time, no charges, no nothing. But he's literally on camera saying, hey, let's go into the Capitol. He is inciting the riot. Now, whether he went inside or not is not even important, because let's talk about somebody else. Brandon Strzok, the leader of the walkaway movement. He had his whole life turned upside down because they said he was inciting the riot. He never went inside the Capitol. He was there the same way Ray Epps was there, but he never was inside the Capitol. All he was doing was being outside, delivering the speech in which he was not talking about inciting the riot or going inside the Capitol or anything like that. But yet he was put in jail, had his whole life turned upside down for the exact same thing that Ray Epps did. The difference is that Brandon Strzok didn't even do what Ray Epps did. But now, 2.5 years later, they're talking about, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and potentially arrest Ray Epps. That's according to Mr. Epps' lawyer. And that revelation was found out in the lawsuit because they're trying to sue Fox, Tucker Carlson, or whoever for defamation of character for saying that Ray Epps is a Fed. Now, if Mr. Epps not a Fed, I can't tell. I cannot tell, because there are quite a few people who are locked up over January 6th that didn't really do anything except for Ray Epps, who actually did do something. Now, before we go any further, let's check out the news clip of this whole lawsuit and whatnot. If you want to see everything again in full, link will be in the description. If you're on IG, go to the link in the bio, visit the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Legal hot water tonight after a man who says the network lied about him is now filing a defamation lawsuit against both Fox and Tucker Carlson. You may have heard the name Ray Epps.
Yes.
He's a Trump supporter who was seen storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Is he a Trump supporter? The media, they do stuff like that. They'll say things that they can't necessarily verify. All you really can say is that he was at the Capitol on January 6th, but you can't say Trump supporter, Trump hater, or whatever. Let's continue.
Why is he suing Fox and Carlson? He says that they falsely claimed that he was an undercover government agent who instigated the violence on purpose as a way to disparage then President Trump and his supporters. The suit also alleges that Epps faced death threats, had to sell his business, had to move to another state, all because of Fox's coverage of him. The new suit comes as Fox faces this $2.5 billion lawsuit from a voting tech company after it just paid something like $800 million to settle a case from another one, Dominion, back in April. We don't know how much in damages Epps is asking for. Brian Stelter, who is the author of Hoax and Network of Lies, is joining us.
Not Brian Stelter. Is it NBC? Wow. Look at that face right there. It the clown. Scary. Nightmare inducing.
Now, this is like another sort of brick getting thrown at Fox here. One of several lawsuits that the network has faced, that Tucker Carlson has faced. What are experts saying about the chance?
Okay, so there's a few things here. Okay, talking about Dominion voting, That got settled. Smartmatic, I guess that's still going on. The Fox producer, they settled with her for real. I think they were trying to say that she was harassed while working on Tucker Carlson's show, which was weird because I think she was working remotely. Who harassed you over the phone? Like, I don't really get it. And then Ray Epps, and then Fox shareholders, violation of fiduciary duty. What that means, what I'm able to guess, I suppose, is that Fox is not doing the things they should do to make the most money. So if you have one of Tucker Carlson and he's inflammatory or whatever, that's going to reduce your advertising dollars. So they're saying just having him on there or others on there or certain news coverage is going to get them less money, which is kind of like sabotaging. And if I'm a shareholder, you're violating your duty as a fiduciary. But that's kind of getting deep into the weeds, so I digress. Let's hear from Little Brian and see what his take on it is.
Chances of this one being significant? It sounds like it could be. Talk us through some of the details.
This is a very strong case, as are some of the others you just heard on screen. That Dominion case was settled. Smartmatic is next. They want billions of dollars. That's going to take years through the courts. But now what we're seeing, Hallie, are individuals like Ray Epps suing Fox. There's a couple cases like this of individuals going to the courts and saying, I was defamed by the right-wing media. My name was ruined, and I need to seek justice through the court system. As you said, we don't know how much money Ray Epps is seeking. It's not going to be billions of dollars the way that Dominion and Smartmatic have sought. But he did say he had to relocate, had to move, he had to leave his job, that he really suffered as a result of this. If anybody watched the House hearing today with the FBI director, there were repeated questions from Republicans about undercover agents or assets being in the crowd on January 6th.
We know they were there. We know they were there. Tucker just covered that on his news show where he said the Capitol Police chief told him that there were feds there. Anybody with a brain in their head knows that there were feds there. I remember the Proud Boys, who are going to have some feds in them. I'm not saying all PB, they're feds, but they're going to be feds there. Any kind of group like that, any kind of right-wing, so-called conspiracy theorists, anything like that, you're going to have feds embedded. It is what it is. Remember the whole Gretchen Whitmer thing? And I'm sorry for the freeze frame. I can't really find a beautiful freeze frame of Brian Stelter, so it is what it is. The chipmunk face has got to be here for a minute, but let me get back on track and not get distracted. Remember the whole Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? They're talking about, oh, it's this group of right-wing guys. They want to kidnap her, all this, that, and the third. In reality, when you look at the group, it was 80, 90% feds, only like 2 regular guys. It was federal agents, federal informants, and then like 2 regular normies who got wrapped up in it. Okay? That same thing is present in a lot of these different so-called right-wing groups. Proud Boys, going back to them, Enrique Tarrio, I guess you would say the leader, de facto leader of the group, they picked him out of the crowd the day before. They knew he was in D.C. They got him the day before, so he could not participate in what was going to happen the next day. Now, why did that happen? Maybe they had intel about some things that were going to go down from some groups that did not have the best interests of the country at heart, who were not Trump supporters, and they didn't want him to be involved in the melee. They wanted to protect their asset, potentially, because we also know that Mr. Tarrio was, at one point, at a certain point, a federal informant. We know that. These are facts. So to say that that is a bridge too far is ridiculous. Now, when you start to mention certain people and you don't have evidence, it might get a little tricky at that point. But I can, at least from my point of view, just say that I think that Ray Epps is a Fed, from my humble opinion, from my point of view.
That's been a popular theme among far-right lawmakers and media. Ray Epps is one of the targets of that narrative, saying he's
saying that there was a question about feds being at J6 from conservatives, and it's a popular question, but he didn't say if it had any merit. You see how they do? The media are very funny, but then they talk about the right-wing media being dishonest and liars and everything else, and slanderous and libelous, but they do the exact same thing that they accuse the other side of doing. Let's continue.
He was part of the troublemakers, but one of the covert agents trying to stir up trouble that day. There has not been a lot of evidence of that. Tucker Carlson and others have pushed it for years, and that's why Epps says he has to take action.
You talk about Tucker Carlson. He's a big focus of this lawsuit.
Okay, so there's one about Tucker and everything there. Let's look at this article right here. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on it. You see where it says narrative shift. Liberal media now refers to J6 as rallies, demonstrations, and protests as a pivot to defend Ray Epps. Now, my question is, why are they trying to defend Ray Epps? He literally was on camera saying, let's go into the Capitol. Why are they trying to defend this guy? I don't understand. The media, especially the left media, do not like Trump supporters. The extreme MAGA Republicans, they don't like these people. So why, oh, why are they expending so much energy to defend this guy? If you just happen to have a brand in your head and use it every now and again for more than a hat rack, for more than a fashion accessory to do your hair and everything else, you would just put two and two together and say, hey, maybe this guy is linked up with law enforcement. Maybe he's a federale, just maybe, potentially, perhaps. Do I have evidence? I mean, I don't have this guy's social security number. I can't do a background check on him, but you would just think that that might be the case. If it looks like a duck and talks like a duck and walks like a duck, it might just be a duck. Do I have the duck's DNA fingerprint? No, I don't, but I do have a brain that functions properly. But I'll link to this article in the description. The main thing here is that Ray Epps' lawyer in the lawsuit says that he's going to be potentially arrested soon. And the reason why is because of Tucker Carlson and Fox News making him be a political punching bag. All right. We got elections coming up right now. That's going to be a topic out there during the debates, on the campaign trail, on television and whatnot. Why has this guy not been arrested while others who have done less have been arrested, had their lives turned upside down? Why is it a full 2.5 years later and you just now getting around to arresting them? They're saying that that whole narrative is the reason why he got arrested. So they are saying that it's a politically motivated thing. But when we say things are politically motivated as far as the arrest, the political prisoners and whatnot, we get accused of being right-wing nut jobs, conspiracy theorists, and everything else. So how are you going to defend this guy who's saying the exact same thing that many of us on our side are saying? It's pretty weird. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the federales out there on J6. We know they were there. How many of them were there? That's a question we can ask. But we know they were there. We know that the feds knew about January 6th before it happened. We knew that there was a request for more security, which didn't get granted. We know all these things. These things are facts. Now, when it comes down to who was a Fed, how many Feds were there, that's a matter of just conjecture. That's a matter of opinion. But we do know that this was not just a bunch of right-wing people, Trump supporters. There was a lot of other elements in the mix. And to say anything different is simply not being honest at best and a liar at worst. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? Do you think that Ray Epps has a case? Do you think that his lawsuit is legitimate against Tucker Carlson and Fox News? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think this guy is a Fed. Do I know it for certain? Do I know it for sure? No. But my opinion is that something's going on with the guy. Maybe a federal agent, maybe a federal informant, maybe somebody that's a random dude that was sent out there by the media. Something's going on, because the simple question is, why hadn't he been arrested for inciting the riot? You saw him on videotape saying, let's go into the Capitol. Brandon Strzok, on the other hand, did not say that, but he got locked up for, quote unquote, inciting the riot. Now, how do you go to jail for inciting the riot when you don't incite the riot, but when you do incite the riot, you don't go to jail? Make that make sense for me, please. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.